4.5 hours. 4.5 hours until the greatest college football rivalry in the world returns.
A 52-yard try.
56-yarder. Cam takes the snap.
Mitchell and Langer on the line of scrimmage coming from either side to try to block the kick.
There is the snap.
Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. Dances right, goes in the end zone, man is open.
It is in the air.
He'll run it out to the 10.
Auburn trying to go after it. Here's the snap.
15, 20, 25, 30.
It has lifted.
35, 40, 45, 50.
They got it. Block kick.
He's got Lutz and Kirkett. Davis is going to run it all the way back.
It's good.
It's caught. Darius Stewart. Touchdown, Auburn.
It's good. It's good.
Auburn's going to win the football game.
And in for a touchdown is David Langer.
Oh, my Lord in heaven.
Who will become a legend this afternoon? We're here to talk about it.
Oh, my God. Auburn wins.
Live with the full resources of the Raycom News Network, this is Tide and Tigers Today.
Now look now, it's back. The Iron Bowl, and the last time Bama and Auburn met in Tuscaloosa, the teams combined for 99 points. Can the Crimson Tide win a third straight over the Tigers? Bama is favored by nearly 18 points. The 81st rendition of the Iron Bowl comes your way later today from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And we welcome you into our Iron Bowl edition of Tide and Tigers Today. You're watching it live from a Raycom TV station in your hometown. Rick Karle, along with the two crazy uncles that visited your place at Thanksgiving. Roger Shultz out of Alabama, Tommy Jackson out of Auburn. These men played the game. They played in the Iron Bowl, and Schultzy, Gene Stallings called. He wants his sport coat back.
I represent.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Man, I love it. You kidding me? It's what the A Club used to wear when they traveled.
That's right. Boy, you got
I'm just
that
missing
up.
my A.
Applause.
That's right.
I want to tackle somebody right now. Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it right
You
now.
saw the open and you're
I'm
backed
out.
up. It's on. All right, before we get rolling here, what's on your mind, Schultz?
Well, I think what's on my mind, it always comes down to the Iron Bowl, and who's going to be that guy that's going to be the hero of this thing? Because it's always somebody different or somebody unexpected. You remember Upchurch catching the pass?
Oh, yeah.
Right? You remember? I mean, so who's this game? Who's going to be the surprise player that rises up and kind of takes the mantle of the Iron Bowl champion that the name will always be remembered, and Daniel Moore make a painting of? That's what this game is all
I take
about.
it you're thinking Alabama if Daniel Moore is.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
you heard Rod Bramlett say Auburn wins. We probably won't be saying that word.
Oh, whatever.
All
Might as
right,
well get it in while
Tommy.
you can.
Whatever.
You said you're stoked. What's up?
You know what?
What's up?
We are not here to kiss the rings at Alabama. I'm telling you now, Auburn's going to kick them behind. They're going to stomp them.
Yeah?
Yeah, I called it. They're going to stomp them. And nobody expects that. Here's the reality, man.
Yeah, you're right. Nobody.
They're going to get Cameron Petway back. This kid, he's excited. He's ready to go. Auburn's going to come out, man, full of vinegar. We won't say the other word on television. I'm telling you, man, they are excited. They are ready to go. If I got to suit up, man, we're going to get a win. We are going to stomp Alabama out. You hear me? No more. No more. We be the little brother to Alabama. They're going to kick Alabama's butt today.
Well, actually, it's going to be like the redhead.
Clock it.
Jonathan Allen called Auburn the little brother, earlier.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I don't know if that's bulletin board material or not. But hey, you think these guys are entertaining? We have cameras all over Tuscaloosa, Alabama this morning. A large cast of characters to help you out. Christina Chambers, Stephen Gutter are in T-Town ready to offer up interviews and insight and more. And we're loading you up on interesting stories this morning. Of course, playing in the Iron Bowl a little bit different than watching the Iron Bowl. We're going to be talking about that. I mentioned that from Chris Davis. The list goes on. The Alabama Steel Curtain. I mean, how good are they? Can Auburn somehow break through that curtain? They allow only 68 rushing yards a game. Daniel Carlson, we'll have a fan watching him today. It's his grandfather, a man who played baseball at Alabama named Deacon Jones.
Oh, I know Deacon.
Yeah, good guy.
Deacon's a great guy.
And the Tigers holder Tyler Stovall, quite a journey from Braves baseball draft pick to a 27-year-old playing for the Tigers as we speak. But here's what you need to know. Iron Bowl later today, number 1 versus number 16, 2:30 Central Time on CBS. Bama won last year, as you know, at Jordan-Hare. They lead the all-time series. They're favored by about 18.5. And Tommy will let you know that the Las Vegas people have been drinking the Kool-Aid. This is a little bit too big of a spread. Hey, a little bit more now on what's going on in T-Town at this hour. Let's visit with Christina. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
It's a beautiful day for football, and we check in with the pride of Coleman, Alabama. Christina, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. We are less than 5 hours away till kickoff in Tuscaloosa, where dreams come to die. Check out this graveyard. They have every tombstone, and the question is, will Auburn have one here tonight? That is the ultimate question, guys. But this rivalry clearly meaning a lot to these fans over here. But to the players, they have a different view on this rivalry. Here's the Alabama players and what they think about the big game.
Growing up in the state, it's either them or us. You know what I mean? You're either Alabama-Auburn fan. And this is what it comes down to, man. It boils down to this.
We respect all of our opponents. We have a certain level of respect for everybody we play. So I'll leave it at that.
Whenever we go against physical backs, you know, it's always fun, especially for us defensive guys. We just love physical games, and the physicality of it gets us excited. So we're going to be ready for the game on Saturday.
Just growing up, every year you watch the game and you see people around you just get affected by it. They're Alabama fan, they lose, or Auburn fan, they lose. You can just see people just the hate and all of that. It's pretty special, and it's one of the biggest things I like about it, why I wanted to come to Alabama.
Growing up, you know, my cousin played here, so I was an Alabama fan when it came to the Alabama-Auburn game. And I just hate the kids running around with the little thumb up, man. I hated that.
I was talking to one of my friends the other day. He was like, you can't lose to Auburn. You can't lose to Auburn and all that. So that's really all everybody seems to talk about this week, beating Auburn.
It means a lot to me, man. It means a lot, you know, especially going against this team, doing this big rivalry at home, my last time in front of these fans. It's going to be big.
Notice the pattern of success, guys, for Nick Saban versus Auburn. Since he took over at Alabama, could this be good news for the Tigers? Check out, he lost in 2007, lost in 2010, and then lost, obviously, with the kick six in 2013. And you see they won back-to-back in 14 and 15. But who will take this one away, guys? And look, this is low tide?
Low tide.
Low tide.
More like roll tide.
Low tide. You can definitely see the rivalry is getting pretty rowdy here on the quad, guys, right now.
I'll tell you what, it is. And you talk about the intensity of the rivalry. I want to put it to you guys. Is playing in the Iron Bowl any less intense than watching the Iron Bowl? You say it's not a big deal
to the players.
To the players.
Right.
Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. You're the players. Let me know what you think,
Right.
Roger. You're up first.
All right, well, the thing is this rivalry, is it bigger for the fans or is it bigger for the players? Well, it's obviously bigger for the players because the players are like, we don't get intense. We don't hate each other because we've played with each other, probably played high school together with each other. But the fans, they shoot each other over this. They get divorced over this. They beat each other up over this. The fans are crazy about it. So I think the game is a little more intense for the fans than it is the players because we kind of play the game. We all kind of sweat through the summer. We understand each other.
Well,
right? A little empathy?
Well, let me say this. Of course you would say that because, well, you didn't really beat us, so it's not really a rivalry for you. Now, me, on the other hand, we beat Alabama 4 years in a row, so it ain't really a rivalry for me. But let me just tell you something. It was very, very good to see those guys go home on their buses with their tail tucked between their legs after we kicked their tails, quite frankly. And let's just be honest here. There's nothing like this rivalry. Though we might not hate those guys, we like kicking their tails.
Of course, everybody likes to win. We're all competitors. We want to win the
but
game.
But it's good to beat
And there's nothing better than beating you. And, of course, like we talked about earlier, Rod Brown said Auburn wins. Well, he hasn't said that for a while.
Well, I'll tell you what.
It's going to be a while before he says
But
it
they're going to
again.
say it at some point, and today they're going to say it because I'm telling you, Alabama.
Today ain't today.
They're going to get whooped today.
You are confident about
today. Today ain't today.
It's time. They're going to get whooped today.
They're going to get whooped today. 18-point dogs.
They're going to get whooped today.
All right, well, look, we got more coming up. In 14 minutes, Daniel Carlson, his relationship with his grandfather, and 4 minutes, we profile the Auburn player that the Tigers call Papa Stove. Let's go to the break. One of the most important Iron Bowls in history, 1982. Bo Jackson over the top. Auburn over Bama 23-22. Important that Bama had won 9 in a row. Auburn back on so-called equal footing. At least they're back in the game, right?
Perception, yeah.
Bo, Randy, Pat died, Legion Field, 34 years ago. Iron Bowl trivia, gentlemen. The most points ever scored on the series, 2014. Remember, they put up a combined 99. Fewest back in 60. Babel won it 3-0. Largest win margin, 55 points back in 1948. Babel won at 55. No, Roger and I weren't there. Welcome back in. You're watching Tide and Tigers today at the Raycom TV station in your hometown. Rick Karle along with Roger Shultz and Tommy Jackson talking about the big game later this afternoon. Hey, your picks later on this afternoon, gentlemen, but Biggest Losers, the former star of the Biggest Losers each week picks his losers. How'd you do last week? I'm here to tell you. 2-2.
Oh,
okay, so not too bad.
Like my school grades.
Well, you had
average.
Florida and Vanderbilt losing wrong, Mississippi State and West Virginia losing right. Okay.
Well, there we go. I'll take it.
I mean, that's not bad. And Tommy, guess what? You went 2-2.
Oh, of course I did.
Mississippi State, West Virginia losing right. Vanderbilt, Florida losing right.
No, I'm becoming average now.
Yeah,
it's very bad.
Well, here's the moment we've been waiting for. We counted all of your picks from the year, and you gotta be kidding me! Hey, dead even.
Hey, but listen, that's
21.
26 and 21.
I tell you what, that means I like it.
All I'm saying is great minds think alike.
That's right, brother. I'm gonna take that,
good
sir.
job.
Good job, kind sir.
Well, because you've been such great sports, the champion, I guess you're going to have to share
we
this.
will share. I will
It's a
take it for a
bathroom
month and you'll
scale
get it.
to the Biggest Loser. That cost me $27 at Walgreens. So.
Well, good. Hey, I'll get it for the first of the year, and I'll give it to Tommy in July.
Yeah, that's right.
There
That's
you
what
go.
we'll do.
All right. Congratulations to both of you. Well,
awesome.
let's check in with more on the Alabama-Tuscaloosa campus and hear what's happening. Christina, we heard from a couple minutes ago about Stephen Gunner. Wondering what Stephen's up to at this hour. Good morning to you.
Hey, Gunner.
Hey guys, listen up. This is such a fantastic atmosphere out here. We're walking around on the opposite side of the quad, and there's crimson and white scattered all over the place. Now, we've been looking for some orange and blue. We found some specks of orange and blue. Check it out. We did find some fans here. This is my man, Greg. Listen, this is families divided, houses divided, friendships divided. This is Stan and Greg, two longtime buddies since the 70s. And they are divided. Look, they won't even put the Auburn and Alabama chairs in the same spot. They have to separate them. Look at them. They're fighting over the pom-poms. They're fighting over what? Look at this. This is what we deal with here in Tuscaloosa today in this Iron Bowl rivalry. Stan and Gray, they can't even get along for 5 minutes, but they're going to watch the game together. That's what makes this rivalry so great. People from all across the nation, the Southeast, from all walks of life, different journeys, which brings us to the story here. My cohort Rick Karle doing a story on Tyler Stovall, the Auburn holder, who had an interesting journey to wind up on the Plains, former professional baseball player, now holding for the Auburn Tigers. Here's Rick Karle's story.
Number 29, Tyler Stovall for hold.
His job is to not get noticed. And Tyler Stovall has done a fine job doing just that. But back in 2008, the world noticed when the then 18-year-old out of Hoax Bluff High School was mowing them down on the diamond.
There's about 11 or 12 state records he holds. Struck out 683 batters in high school. That's the high school record in Alabama and number 4 in the nation.
In a flash, this high school quarterback had been signed by a well-known major league team.
You know, I got drafted out of high school in the second round by the Braves, and you know, it's kind of a whirlwind. You know, you're 18 years old and you go do that. It's kind of definitely a lot of new things at you fast.
For 4 years, things came at him fast, until the dream ended in 2011.
When it was over, it was just like a big, like it just hit us all in the face, like, oh my gosh, you know, it's really, you're not really it's done, you know, it's time to move on.
But as one door closed, another would soon be open. Oh, he knew he was headed back to college, but would Tyler Stovall soon find football re-entering his life as a punter and or a holder?
I got a call from Alabama. Their director of player personnel was Paul Ganella at the time, and he called me about coming to punt.
He wasn't even going to consider it. You know, he was just kind of like, you know, that's just a joke. Like, it's almost like a joke, you know, like I can't go play football. Like, I haven't picked up a football in 6 years. I'm
such a die-hard Auburn fan. I said, if you go to Alabama, I don't know if I can. I hope you punt it 60 yards and run it down to 2, you make a tackle and they score the next play.
Days later, another school called. The school where he planned on playing baseball before turning pro.
Coach Fountain brought him to me and said, hey, we got an opportunity to get a very good athlete and a holder, a punter, and So that's how we kind of started the conversation.
We knew when Auburn had said, we want you to come, we were definitely going.
I was kind of biased, I guess, and wanted to come to Auburn where my sister, my dad, my mom, they all came here. So it's just something I wanted to do and wanted to come here to Auburn.
Well, you knew that he was a mature guy. You knew he had to be a pretty good athlete. And as I got to know him, you know, he had that special trait to him.
Tyler Stovall has been a holder at Auburn for 3 years. Next month, Papa Stove turns 27, and he takes seriously his role as the team leader and advisor.
I get to show them that not only you got to work hard in the on the field and whatnot, but also in the classroom and as a person, you know, building your character every day. I want to represent that and show the kids that that's what, you know, we need to do as men.
A lot of the guys really miss home, so we kind of get to give them that.
He's always there for them. He's a great encourager and just one of our overall team leaders.
He and I both love it, and he loves it, and we couldn't ask for anything better right now.
The old man will be back next season as he has yet another year of eligibility. He'll be 28 when he graduates, and that is perfectly fine with Tyler.
You know, if you'd have told me when I was 18 that I got a chance to come back and play football here at Auburn, I'd have said you're out of your mind. So it's kind of cool how it unravels, and you know, I wouldn't change my life for the world.
All right, how about Auburn holder Tyler Stovall? Great story right there, man. He's doing a great job with the Tigers, holding for one of the best kickers in the nation. But hey, how about him on the baseball diamond? 2008 Hoax Bluff graduate, state of Alabama. He was Mr. Baseball. 54 career wins, over 670 strikeouts. He was a second-round pick in 2008 for the Atlanta Braves, played with the Braves and the Royals farm system. So great story there from Rick. We're right here in the middle of all the madness, as we showed Stan and Greg, our two friends. Where are they? They're not fighting right now. They separated. They have separated. There he is. Look, they're. He wants you to see this Auburn chair here, and they're going to start throwing stuff in a second. And Greg, a big Auburn fan, but his 3 children graduated from Alabama, so he's had it rough. But guys, are y'all fighting back in the studio like these two right here? Look at this. This is what we're dealing with here.
It could be Jerry Springer before we know it.
Yeah, we leg wrestled.
There you go.
Leg wrestled earlier.
We'll check in. Hey, a question. We're thinking of the success that Nick Saban has had in this Iron Bowl. 6-3.
Right.
Has it diminished the intensity, the interest in the game at all from any fan bases? Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Roger, give me your take. What do you think?
You know what? I don't think it's diminished the interest in this. It's with Saban. He's intense. Like this game, like today's game, right? Everybody says, what's at stake in this game? Alabama, there's obviously a lot at stake. An opportunity to be in the college football playoff. Because a lot of people feel if Alabama loses this game, it doesn't matter. It does matter. It matters to Nick Saban. He knows how important this game is, not only to his players, but his fan base. So this is a very intense rivalry.
You know, I'm actually going to have to go with you on this one because here's the reality. It's still the Iron Bowl. And quite frankly, you want to lose a job, don't beat the other team. All right? And, I mean, we can go back to Tommy Tuberville. Tommy Tuberville we beat Alabama 6-7 times in a row. You lose twice, and you're out of here. The point of the matter is this game matters because it matters to the state, to the fans, and to the players.
And to the country.
And to the country.
It always has an impact on college. It has an impact on the college football playoff system, however you want to do it. But there's a lot at stake for Auburn. If Auburn wins today, they still have a shot to get in the Sugar Bowl. Now, who would have thought that 3 weeks ago? It's the truth.
Exactly.
And Alabama still has everything in front of it if it loses.
And the funny part about it is this game is decided the national champion the last 4, 5, 6 times.
No, what's interesting about this game is in the last 9 years, a number 1 or number 2 team has been in this game. That's pretty remarkable. Now, Alabama's been at 8 times. So, I mean, but it still matters. It still matters.
Well, you heard him. The beatdown Auburn.
Well, no, it's interesting. Tommy made a point, and if I can read some underlying stuff in it, he says, well, the coach that loses this game. Well, Malzahn might be on the verge of losing again. Does that mean Malzahn may be gone?
Here's the reality.
Tommy, is that what you're saying?
Listen,
Are you implying?
I am implying.
The seat gets a little warmer.
If you don't beat Alabama, your seat is blazing. Yep. You will be out of here. I'm just being honest with you. That's the one thing. That's like a prerequisite.
Well,
you can't lose.
Especially in light of what's happening today.
Tuberville won a lot.
And lost to him twice.
There you go.
Out of there.
Hey, next up, can a granddad who played baseball at Bama find it in his heart to root for his grandson who plays for the Auburn football team?
No, better.
Hey, Rebecca cooking some burgers. She's up on the roof.
Oh, she's on our VIP
Let's
roof.
check in. What's
That's
up?
The roof, the penthouse.
Guys, I'm pulling the cheeseburgers off the grill right now. We are going to have a team taunting Iron Bowl tailgate. Alabama and Auburn face off in the Tide and Tigers kitchen. You do not want to miss out.
Iron Iron Bowl trivia. You know, in 2014, 2 years ago, Auburn had that big lead, 33-21 on the third. Bama's 34-11 run resulted in that 55-44 win. Auburn 623 yards, 44 points, and lost the game. Coach Gus has been chewing on that for 2 years now. Hey, welcome back in. We are approaching the bottom of the hour, and we are with you until the top of the hour, whether that being 11 a.m. Central Time or noon Eastern, and we welcome you back in. You know, the Iron Bowl can split families apart, or they can bring them together. You're in a split marriage,
right? That's right.
Or a house divided. We'll talk with Paige later on, possibly. Let's check back in
with that.
with Christina Chambers in Tuscaloosa and see what she's up to, Chris.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Joe Gear. Could you ever imagine trading in your crimson and white for orange and blue?
Absolutely not. I'm born and raised right here in Tuscaloosa. Being an Alabama fan, it's a lifestyle.
Well, that doesn't seem to be the case for Auburn place kicker Daniel Carlson. His whole family went to Alabama, but he ended up at Auburn. I caught up with his grandfather and his mother to talk about this unique situation in their house divided. The game between Auburn and Alabama has divided households for generations.
I said, Daniel, I don't do Auburn. He said, you gonna come to my games? I said, Daniel, I don't do Auburn.
And Deacon Jones has stuck to that mentality ever since 1951, when he started playing baseball for Alabama. But little did he know, 62 years later, his allegiance to the Tide would be tested when his grandson Daniel Carlson signed a football scholarship to Auburn.
I said, Daniel, you need to go to school where you want to go to school, not where anybody else wants you to go to school. Now, I didn't think it'd be Auburn when I told him that, but...
The news was shocking for Jones, considering his ties to Alabama and the fact that Daniel's dad also played tennis there. And his mom? Well, she helped recruit players for Bear Bryant.
Those were just high days at Alabama, and Bear Bryant was a wonderful, he was like a mellow, grandfather type at that point.
So Daniel had no choice but to love the Tide. He even has a dog named Bama, but that was then. The Carlson family has since traded in their crimson and white for orange and blue.
The first time somebody saw me at the Auburn Stadium in orange was someone that didn't know that Daniel was my son, and literally their mouth was agape. They were so shocked.
Jones vowed he would never go to a game inside Jordan-Hare Stadium, but that all changed this year.
It was basically the ladies at the church. Deacon, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And I said, all right, look, I'm going to Auburn.
So Jones went to the Vanderbilt game and saw Daniel play.
I'm very proud of Daniel. And I want him to be the best kicker in the world, and I think he's pretty close to it. But I love him just like I do my kids and my grandkids, even though he did go to Auburn.
Jones obviously very proud of his grandson. He will be at the game here this afternoon, not only to watch Daniel kick, but also to watch his son, Jeff Jones, who was in the Air Force, and he will be presenting the colors here today. So very exciting moment for Jones. And don't forget about Carlson's mom. She said she's so nervous about this game. She just hopes it doesn't come down to a game-winning field goal, guys.
It's interesting how the mom help recruit Bama players for the Bear.
She was a tennis player at Alabama. I've known Deacon Jones for a long time. Obviously, sure. He was an A-club president. And, it's just so funny. Because when I saw the piece on your Facebook post, and it was like, I said, that looks like Deacon Jones. Oh, that's his grandson? I couldn't believe it, But I will say this, when we get to my prediction, I do predict Carlson kicking a whole lot of field goals.
Oh, boy.
I don't think Auburn's going to win, but he'll kick a lot of field goals.
Well, let's play some true false and
I love this
get some more of your opinions. You ready?
Let's do it.
This is for you. Okay, she'll say true or false. You know that Bama offense got a mediocre against Chattanooga. Is this a concern for Bama fans?
False. It shouldn't be a concern for them. Hey, sometimes you just don't play up to your. You just kind of take a little day off. So it's going to be all right. Okay, my more concern would be Auburn's defense.
Sure. There you go. Well, we got the graphic against Chattanooga. Bama did have over 300 total yards of offense, second lowest of the season. They were outgained in the first quarter. They allowed 3 sacks, third down conversions 4-13, only 3 touchdowns in 11 drives. But like you say, it's Chattanooga. Sometimes you play to your competition. True or false, Tommy? Even at 100%, Shaun White is just not good enough to beat Bama.
I'm going to say false, and here's why. The guy does what you have to do to beat Alabama, which is complete passes. All right, we know he's efficient. The guy had a shoulder injury against Georgia. He looked awful. Hopefully he's got an opportunity to get better. He can throw the ball, plus having Cameron Petway back. I think he can definitely get the job done and beat Bama.
Well, let's see the comparisons between White and Jeremy Johnson. Don't know who's going to start yet, possibly.
I heard Jeremy Johnson.
Yeah, that's what the buzz has, Johnson and perhaps White going in later. But the numbers are last game out, obviously a shot against Georgia, Jeremy against Alabama A&M, so a little bit different there.
Yes,
true or false, Roger? Auburn's Cameron Petway will gain over 50 yards today, rushing.
False.
He won't get to 50.
He will not get to 50.
He averages
130. That's hogwash.
Leonard Fournette.
That's hogwash. This ain't Leonard Fournette.
First of all, he's injured.
He looks like Jerome Bettis in his prime, dude.
He won't get
this
to
kid is going to be drafted high because he is a NFL-ready back. The guy hits the hole. He's a load to tackle. He's going to be an animal.
He's injured.
He'll get
and then he can
100+.
tweak the leg, and he'll be done. No, he won't.
And I just wish I could fast forward this clock about 6 hours to see what this stuff comes true.
Listen, he may get 49, but he ain't getting 50.
All right. Well,
Leonard Fournette couldn't get 50
who's
in 2 years.
tough enough to be inducted or invited anyway into Mr. Rogers' neighborhood? We've got that at 8 minutes. Tommy Jackson's got his top 5 Iron Bowls of all time. To the break, the kick, right? 85. Shula let him down. Van Tiffin took care of the rest. You were.
Yeah, I was in the stand.
Forney, Leighton on the call. We're back.
A 52-yard try. The clock will not start till the ball is snapped. There is the snap, the kick. It is in the air. It has shifted. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. Van Tiffin has won the ball game.
You know, the longest Bama streak in this series. Bama's won 9 straight, you know, in the 70s. Longest Auburn win streak. You were part of that, right,
Oh,
DJ?
yeah.
Hey, 6 in a row. Fear the thumb, the whole bit, you know.
Get that thought.
10:34 Central, 11:34 Eastern. Karle along with Shultz and TJ. Correction, Paul Kennedy and Leighton were on that call. As opposed to Forney. Appreciate you pointing that out. Okay, Tommy Jackson has our Jackson 5 each and every morning and every Saturday morning.
Well, I usually don't peek. I wait till he announces it. I peeked over today and we kind of had an argument during the break.
Okay, well, the top 5 Iron Bowls from your perspective.
That's right.
Iron Bowl moments. Iron Bowl moments.
Okay, moments.
So, what that is, definitely, I mean, come on, the kick 6 will always be number 1 because that's on a lot of people's.
Oh, wait.
What do they have?
Wow.
I think that's from last week.
Well, this one, I don't know what they did, but we're going to read these. The Comeback by Cam Newton, that's number 2. The Drive in 09. Even though I hate Bama, that was one of the greatest moments in the history of it. Bowl over the top, number 4 in 82. Again, that was a 9-win streak that got cut, man.
That's number what on your list?
No, that's going to be number 4 on
Number
my
4,
list. And then the 5th, of course, you got to give it to Kenny Stabler in 1967 to run in the mud. You got to give it to him.
Well, he forgot about Van Tiffin's kick. He forgot about
First
punt,
of all,
Bama punt. But this is his list.
Well, that's his list.
Are you kidding me? At least, let's see, 5 of these are other top 5s, I'm certain. Because, again, we're talking about kick
number
6.
2 is?
That is the most important thing ever. Kick 6, the comeback led by Cam Newton in 2010, won a national championship.
Well,
that one.
I would not argue with the kick 6.
You wouldn't?
Kick 6 has to be the number 1 play ever in the Iron Bowl.
Well, one of the greatest plays in college football. Chris Davis.
Van Tiffin's kick in 85 was
Listen, you're a Bammer. You're supposed to say that.
No, I'm just saying.
On to you, Rick.
I think Chris Davis would agree with TJ.
Of course he would.
No, I agree with TJ on that one. It was a game changer.
56-yarder.
That looks pretty.
No,
First of all,
it's going.
When I
Oh, no.
I headed to the middle first.
Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone.
I stuck my foot in the ground and ran to the left.
He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20.
Like I said, I knew I had the speed to outrun those slow guys.
25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back.
You know, it seemed like we set up a wall, and they had all the blocks set up.
Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. Oh, my Lord in heaven. Chris Davis just ran it 109 yards. Oh, my God. Auburn wins.
I mean, that is
I mean, that is
by far greatest college football play ever.
Well, you know what makes it worse, and it, of course makes it great for you, makes it worse. The week before against Georgia or whatever, when they had the tip ball and
Ricardo
one,
Lewis, yeah.
and then they do this, and you're thinking, it's just something was on their
Something's
side.
in
And
the
that's
water,
what makes you nervous about the Iron Bowl anyway. It's like,
period.
Do I think Alabama's going to win it? Yes. I don't think Auburn can match up with Alabama today. But then you know what? You just got to. Auburn never crossed the 50-yard line in that 72 game, and they still won.
They still won.
So, I mean, you just never know. But I do know Saban takes this game very serious, and he's focused on this, and he's not looking past it because there's a lot of national people saying, well, they could lose this game and still, it's still blah, blah. It's still important to Saban to win this game.
Defense is so important here, and as we go to the break, you think this Bama defense is pretty strong. That defense in 1992 was pretty strong, too. Remember the Iron Bowl then? Antonio Langham steps up and picks off your buddy Stan White out of Hoover, and the rest is history, 17-0. They went to the SEC Championship game, first ever, won the national championship.
Look at Donnelly getting a block right there.
Hey, Pat Dye's final game. And, wow.
That was an emotional game.
Boy, what drama. We'll be back.
There you go.
Did you know the first Iron Bowl was played back in 1893 in Birmingham, Alabama?
Yeah, over where
the Highlands area. Yeah, there's a marker there. Auburn won it. The game shelved until after the war. Of course, it's been played in Birmingham, Montgomery, Tuscaloosa, and Auburn. All right, Shultz, who are you inviting into Mr. Rogers' neighborhood?
Well, I think this is going to be simple. You got to look at this defensive line, man. They have controlled the line of scrimmage. So the defensive line at Alabama, Jonathan Allen, Anderson, those guys have to get Deron Payne. Those are the guys at Tomlin. I mean, look at these guys. They just dominate the line of scrimmage. They make it easier for everybody else. They score touchdowns. They defeat blockers. And these guys are in the neighborhood. The whole group's in the neighborhood.
You're the former nose guard. You know how tough these guys are.
Listen, man, they should have been in the neighborhood the first week of the season.
They're the foundation.
What took you so long?
They should own the neighborhood. These are the guys that walk around. They protect the neighborhood.
They don't even
That's
move.
your neighborhood watch right there now. You hear me? That's your neighborhood watch. No,
those guys are.
They're the greatest defensive line Alabama's had. And I remember in the beginning of the season.
Because last year they were going to really good.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, when I said it, people thought I was crazy. I'm telling you, best defense they've ever had. These guys are scary.
Well, let's hear more on that subject from Stephen Gunner. We revisit him in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Stephen, welcome back.
Well, guys, I'll tell you, we have started to see a few more Auburn fans trickling in here. Last time we checked, Stan and Greg, which we saw fighting the last time we had us on camera, they're playing nice together. They're setting up more and more tents, so the friendship divided is okay for right now. Just a few minutes ago, we actually saw Cadillac Williams, the former Auburn great, walking by us, heading around, checking out all the tailgaters today. How would he hold up against this Alabama defense? My goodness, so tough against the run, #1 in the nation. That's the big question going into tonight's game. How will Auburn be able to move the ball against this Crimson Tide defensive front? Because Coach Malzahn, Coach Lashley, and those players know this is a difficult Bama defense to try to run through.
This may be the best pass rushing unit since I've been playing Alabama.
They have the ability to rush the passer probably than they've ever done.
They really do a good job of especially when they know it's pass situations, of harassing the quarterbacks.
Tim Williams and Ryan Anderson, a couple of those guys, I mean, they can rush the passer at the level of a guy like Carl Lawson for us, the guys at A&M.
Very impressive to see the amount of touchdowns that their defenses have created, mostly off their pass rush.
Where in the past they've had more run-stopping D linemen, they've got both now.
They have really good size on the D-line, and I think what makes them very good is they're always where they're supposed to be.
Their two defensive ends are both dynamic. Their internal guys are very good one-on-one.
They're not perfect, but majority of the time they're right where they're supposed to be. And if you're right where you're supposed to be, you can make a lot of plays.
When they get you in a pass-for-sure situation, it's like a feeding frenzy.
It's credit to them for attacking and making plays and then finding ways to finish plays.
They've knocked the ball loose, they've picked it up, they've tipped balls, they've caused bad throws for interceptions. That's real impressive, when you're looking at them.
It's the best defense in college football. I think that's pretty obvious.
Man, we have two good defenses on the field tonight here in Tuscaloosa. Check them out, comparing both side to side. Total defense, Bama number 2 in the nation, Auburn number 18. Scoring defenses both in the top 10. That number 1 rush defense for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Auburn not too shabby at number 17. Total sacks, you see them there. Red zone defense, actually Auburn leading that one, number 2 in the nation. Alabama number 52. Of course, Bama defensive touchdowns, 9 on the season, which is tops in the entire nation. So I'll tell you what, guys, this one tonight, can Auburn move the ball on that Alabama defensive front or even get the pass off? Because as you heard, the passes defense for Alabama pretty solid. Guys, I'll send it back to you, but I'll tell you this, they have the TV set up over here, and guess who they're watching? That's right. Greg has it tuned in right now to Tide and Tigers today, so they are watching us as we're giving them the best coverage around.
That's amazing. Hey, we've been doing this
and
show
a related note, by the way, Steven has just been renewed for another year.
Yeah,
Good job, Steven. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. We've been doing this show for 4 years, and every time they go to a fan thing, they never have us on the TV.
Yeah, well,
I finally had them to put us on the TV.
There you go. Let me get your perspective about playing in this game, because we'll start with you.
Yep.
You won 1? Was it 1-3? Well, I'm
senior
not knocking. I'm
year.
just saying
Yes,
your senior.
yeah, right.
But 1989 is the game you played in, and that was so significant for the Auburn family when they took that game back to Jordan.
Well, and it made it home and home too, because Alabama got to play it in Tuscaloosa. But I tell everybody, the most memorable game I ever played in college was obviously this '89 game. Now, it didn't turn out in my favor. Auburn ended up winning the game 30-20, but it was a great game to go down there, and Coach Curry got a little worked up. You know, maybe it was a little tight. We didn't play as loose as we could have, and we were undefeated going down there. So it was obviously a huge game for Auburn, because they beat us and we all tied for the SEC championship. But that was a very memorable game in '89, and obviously all the Auburn people remember that. And it's still my most memorable game, even though it's not really memorable.
Tommy, boy, you had some memories. Unbeaten against Alabama.
Right.
You're in the middle of that streak. And here's 2005, Sack Brody. Look at number 58, Tommy Jackson. You had a pretty nice game.
Let me tell you, that to me will always be one of my most memorable games, because not only did we destroy Alabama, but that was to put a cap on a really just a domination of that school. And you don't really get to say you dominate Alabama. But I know for me and my guys, we dominated Alabama for 4 years.
Look at you in the Super Bowl. I mean,
it was exciting, man. I'm telling you. You know, I joke with my son now. He's 3 and he doesn't understand. But I say things to him, son, I never lost to Alabama. He doesn't know what it means yet, but he will.
He will.
And quite frankly, this game means more to people who played in it than I think anybody. Of course, it means the most, man.
Really? Oh, by the way, how many sacks?
Oh, I got 3 that one.
You got 3 against Brody? Yeah.
Hey, I gave up 3 sacks to Tracy Rocker. I mean, come on.
There you go. See what they have in common? Hey, and just a bit, the X factors in today's game, the exact score of the Iron Bowl, your 3 keys to victory for the Tide and Tigers.
What about the kitchen?
Well, you're gonna see these men wearing aprons in just a little bit. Rebecca, you ready?
I am ready. Y'all come on back. I'm putting a little finishing touch with a bourbon in our Bourbon and Coke Smoky Onion Jam.
That's the key word right there for Roger. Bourbon.
Yes.
Oh, that smells
Keep
good.
it coming. Pour me another glass.
Baby little onions.
To Tide and Tigers today. We're in the kitchen with Rebecca Gordon, and it's the first time my apron has matched my jacket.
Oh, that's right.
Awesome?
I love it. Y'all, we are having an Iron Bowl burger smackdown in the Tide and Tigers kitchen today. And we have a cheeseburger stuff 'em slider that we're going to have.
Stuff 'em. And we got some tiger tails.
Yeah, we got some little tiger tails. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that in just a minute. But all you're going to do is get 2 pounds of ground beef. You're going to portion it out in 12 portions, and then you're going to put a little cheese in the center, put another piece of ground beef over the top of that, and then you'll grill those off for about 4 minutes per side.
Is there any kind of ground beef you like? Is it like, you know?
I like the 80% lean because I like, a little bit of fat. It's juicy that way.
Good.
Okay, so we are making a smoky bourbon and Coke onion jam to go with our orange and blue crusher that's topped with tiger tails, and that is what Tommy's going to work on today. So we need a black and blue sauce to go over the top of that.
Let's do it. I like how you have these separated, by the way.
Good.
That's festive.
Okay. All right, so we've got a little mayonnaise in the bowl. I've got a little sugar going in. That's going to give a nice little sweetness and balance the flavor. I've got black pepper in there, and then you're going to put some blue cheese crumbles in there.
Okay.
And then I've got some apple cider vinegar going in, and that's just going to give it some balanced flavor as well.
All right.
And then a little bit of buttermilk going in. You know, I love my buttermilk.
Hey, Buttermilk Lipstick's a great website.
Oh, thank you. And I'm going to add a little garlic. I've got a little garlic
Boom,
that's going
put a
in
little
right there.
garlic in there.
And once you stir that together, I want you to build a slider with some of our smoky bourbon and Coke onion jam with some of the sauce and some of your tiger tails. Now this is, you start with the bacon in the onion jam.
Oh, is that bacon?
Yeah, there's bacon, but then you add the
good
onions
Lord.
and caramelize it, and then you reduce it with bourbon and Coke because that's a game day staple.
Right.
And then we add a little bourbon at the end just to give a little, you know, like we did.
That's
before
what we
the break.
love. We like a little.
A little. Okay, so now we need to make the elephant stomp over here.
Elephant stomp.
And this is a barbecue flavor profile. So it's a tangy O-line barbecue slaw.
O-line, I like it.
Yeah, the O-line. And they score all the points.
That's right.
And so we've got a little coleslaw mix going in. I want you to add a teaspoon of yellow mustard to that. Most people are going to have that on hand in their refrigerator already.
Great for you. All right.
And then we've got a 1/4 cup of white vinegar going in. And then we're going to add a little bit of oil. That's going to give us a nice balance of flavor as well with the vinegar. And then you've got some. That's actually celery salt. So you're going to
celery salt.
Yeah, no chopping here. You've got the celery flavor and the
real
salt.
salt, unless you.
Well, that's sugar. You got to add a little sugar in there, and then you've got to add your chipotle seasoning. I had to close out the seasoning.
There you go.
The Chipotle queen here.
I know. Okay, so
we just
toss
get
that together.
All right.
And then what you're going to do is you're going to build a burger with a little bit of your tangy O-line barbecue slaw with some barbecue sauce, and then we have barbecue chips going over the top of that because we like that crunchiness factor.
Right.
How you doing over here?
I think we're doing good. I got my
Oh, he got your tiger
and
tails on his slider.
got my
That
tiger
looks
tails on my
good.
slider. I think we're looking right. I sure will. Why not?
Awesome.
Oh, this is unbelievable. I got to hurry up and make this.
Yeah, you need to make yours. Okay, now come
There we
see
go.
me at buttermilklipstick.com for
Dope.
all of the ideas that you've seen here today, as well as everything we've been tailgating with all season long. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Lots of fun tailgating all
hey,
season.
listen, we don't start our Saturdays without going to Buttermilk Lipstick, Rebecca Gordon.
Well,
we love
you.
it. Hey, Rick,
you.
we're going to bring you some of these hamburgers. You're going to love it.
All right. I'm hungry, man. I can smell them. Hey, next up, the X Factors and the Iron Bowl, plus why Roger hears War Eagle quite often around his house. To the break, the comeback 2010. Bama leading in Tuscaloosa 24-zip. And here comes Cam Newton and the Tigers. Remember the pass to Lutzenkirchen, the big winner, 28-27. Auburn. They then headed to the national championship game. You're heading to the break. We're back in just a bit. You remember Wimpy, right? The hamburger guy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're old enough to remember that, man. That burger stuff was good. Welcome back in. The keys to the game and the exact numbers in just a little bit, but I want to talk X Factors with Christina and Steven. They're back out on the field. What's the one thing that's going to make the difference for each team? Christina, what are you thinking?
Well, guys, my X factor for Alabama is going to be quarterback Jalen Hurts. He's already broken the single-season rushing record at Alabama with 803 yards. Not to mention, he already has 11 touchdowns on the ground to go along with his over 2,000 passing yards. So, yes, Auburn's going to put pressure on him and try to contain him, but it's what Hurts does with his legs and his speed and his mobility that's going to be the game changer here tonight. Steven, I'm going to send it over to you. I know it's rowdy over here. What do you have over there?
All right, my X factor for tonight for the Auburn Tigers, the running back Cameron Petway, second leading rusher in the SEC, over 1,100 yards. Of course, he's been dinged up, missed the last few games. Only 4 times this season he hasn't even had a carry in a game, and still over 1,100 yards on the season. He is my X factor. Can he bulldoze through that tough Alabama defense? I've got my eye on Cameron Petway, as we call him, the pride of Prattville, Alabama. Guys?
All right, Cameron Petway, Jalen Hurts, pretty good choices there. From a Bama perspective, give me 3 keys that Tide fans will be looking for.
Well, obviously, I guess the first key, you got to be able to control the line of scrimmage. I mean, Auburn's defensive line is pretty good, but you got to be able to control the line of scrimmage. That's first. You got to make Auburn one-dimensional. Obviously, make them throw the ball. Stop the run, make them throw the ball.
Yep.
It's advantageous for you. And of course, always in rivalry games and close games, special teams always makes a difference.
All right, give me your pick then, Roger. How's this one going to come out?
I think it's going to be Alabama. I got them 38-17, and really make it either 37-18 or 37-15, because Carlson's going to score all their points with field goals.
Man, get out of here.
Tommy, from an Auburn perspective, give me your 3 keys. What do the Tigers need to do?
Well, I think definitely Cameron Petway has to play. If Cameron Petway plays, that gives Auburn the running game that they need. Also, they can't have any turnovers. You can't be careless with the football. You keep the football, that gives you a chance to run the ball. And of course, the third thing is you got to contain Jalen Hurts. Don't let him make plays with his legs. He'll hurt you that way.
Your pick?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious, people. I got it. Auburn 28, Alabama 21. They're going to beat them by a touchdown. Get on.
There you go.
Wow.
Hey, what do you think about
There you go.
let me sneak a
You guys
question in
scored
about
28 points all year.
Orgeron. What do you think? He's getting the LSU?
Man, that's the worst hire to come.
Hey, listen, Joe Oliva is an athletic director. Really
I don't
should be.
know.
LSU needs a fire. And obviously, when Orgeron got the job, that means that Herman's going to go to Texas. There's supposedly Lane Kiffin's going to be the offensive coordinator at LSU. And people go, why would he make that lateral move? Obviously, the right to have some freedom. It's going to be crazy in the next couple
crazy.
days.
Worst hire ever.
My final word, real quick. I know we're running short on time. You know, house divided. Schultz, hey, you've done right. You married an Aubie, right?
I did. I sure did.
What a
She's
lovely
Auburn.
picture. Yeah, there you
She's
go.
devil horns.
So see,
That's how she
Tide
looks to
and
me
Tiger
today.
fans can get along.
Yeah, that's right.
It's been a great season, guys. Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks, Tom.
Enjoy.
We'll do it again. We'll see you here next year. Same time, same place.
That's right.
Enjoy the Iron Bowl this afternoon. All right, guys.
All right.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
See you, Rick.
Pound it, pound. Long distance. There you go.